So welcome back, everyone. Listen up. This is going to be a very, very cool segment, and I'm going to tell you why. It's spring cleaning, and you might need to get rid of some stuff. We're live on Facebook, so I do want to say hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We'll share the show later on. My next guests have been with me several times. I have with me Annette and Michael Aurelio, and they are the owners of Smooth Transitions of the Valley. They are specialized in senior transitions in moving, but they are not like any moving company out there. They're not a moving company, really. You're everything on top of that as well.
We're everything but the mover, right? So we hire a mover to move the stuff because I'm far too old to load a truck.
But you do a lot to help them, and let's talk a little bit about your services.
Okay, yeah. So we, when we get a phone call, the first thing we do is go out and visit the client and find out what their needs are. Let's talk about what we can do and what of that you want us to do. So you don't have to do any particular quantity of our services. We'll do whatever you want. But we can do everything from soup to nuts.
Absolutely. Let's talk first about when they call you, and it could be also what you had mentioned earlier when it's a panic mode, right? Which we don't want you to do that. But you know, people have to find somebody that they can trust, and this is something very important that I want you to talk about, because seniors can be sort of taken advantage of. You work with anyone, not just seniors. I want to bring that out really quickly, but I want to talk about your company and what the places that you belong with, because this is what sets them apart from anyone else as well. Go ahead.
We belong with the Better Business Bureau, A+ rated. We're members of the National Association for Senior Move Managers. We're also members of the Arizona Movers Association. And what we do is we network with a lot of people in a lot of the communities to make sure that we meet their needs as well as meeting the clients' needs. And a lot of times we get communities where they will tell us, hey, I've got some clients, we're sending them your way. And they will give us, like, there's something unique about that client that needs to move in, and they will give us a clue as to what's needed, so that we give the tender loving care that you need to give, all the special details.
Okay, so it's spring cleaning. We're going to talk a little bit about that for a minute, because you don't have to work with seniors in any way, right?
Correct.
And you were saying that right now is a good time for people that maybe they want to declutter, right? Go through your closets. Want to talk a little bit?
Right, so we just helped somebody do this yesterday. And the clue to the fact that you're not wearing the clothes, yeah, we live in Arizona. The theme song of Arizona should be Dust in the Wind. There was dust on the shoulders of all of the jackets and shirts. And so, it was obvious what was being worn and what was not being worn. And so he decided, the gentleman we were helping decided that, they've been there long enough to become dust covered. I don't need them anymore. And so we packed them up and took them out for him.
That's so funny that you just said that. And I think everyone out there, even the board operator, everybody's laughing because we totally get it. It's so true. And not just with your clothes.
Oh, yeah.
Because we all have a lot of stuff, right? And you can do that. This is something that you can utilize them for. They will come in, they will help you. There are some people out there that need the assistance of what to do, what not to do. Somebody might even be a little bit of a hoarder. Can you help people with that?
Oh, yeah. We went and did an estimate for one where the guest room door only opened about 12 inches.
So that's a problem.
That is a problem, and so we have to go in there and just pull things out, a box at a time, and bring it out into the light. It has not seen the light of day in a long time, and people will then go through it, and I give them several boxes. The box in front of them is the box that I took out of their room, and the left box is I want to keep it, the right box is I want to donate it, and the box in front of ahead of them is the box that needs to be thrown away.
Well, I'll tell you something. What's really nice is to have somebody it's not the children doing that. Because when the children are doing that, the parents are like, excuse me? You're not telling me what to do. When it's someone like you who knows how to work with people, especially the older folks or someone that might be dealing with a little bit of the hoarding, right, issues, it's spring cleaning. You have somebody do that for you. And then at the end of everything, let's say you've gotten it all ready to go and it's cleaned out and they've got it in bags and they've decided and sorted what they want. What happens then?
Well, it depends. If it is something that has resale value, there are consignment shops we can take it to and have it sold, and the consignment shop keeps 50%, they get 50%. A lot of times it's just, it's older stuff, and so it gets donated to a thrift shop. And depending on what their causes are, some people have their causes, and those causes have thrift shops. We'll take it to whichever shop they want.
Write this number down and put it into your phone. The phone number is 602-794-5455, and the website is movingsuresucks.com. And I love that. That's something that we did together, and that is fantastic that you came up with that, because you know what? Moving does sure suck, and why should you have to do it if you don't have to? If you're somebody who isn't, elderly, you can't do it. Maybe you're somebody with special needs, you can't do it. Who are some of your clients?
Well, we've worked with some veterans who that are maybe in their late 30s, early 40s, but they've had damage to their body due to their service, or somebody who's just had surgery who can't lift. People that, one who had MS, actually a couple that have had MS that we've helped move.
You know what? You never know what that situation is, and people don't realize that your service exists. Right? They only think of the movers. They're not thinking of somebody that's going to help me pack and take care of things. And you could be downsizing. You could be moving from a home that you had to get out of, right? It could be that you are a senior. We're going to talk a little bit about how you help people, which I love this part about what you do. And I was just talking about you recently. There are people out there that, let's say you're a parent who, you are really worried about moving, because you want to stay in your home, but you can't. You make this super simple for people because you do everything from soup to nuts, but listen up of all the services that you get. Explain that. Go ahead.
We start coming in and we evaluate what they've got. Once we evaluate what they've got, what they want to bring with them, we'll help them draw up a floor plan so that we know what's gonna fit.
Moving companies don't do that. Go ahead.
Then after we draw up what they can take with them, then we'll help them to sort through and determine, okay, you got a little bit of excess of clothing. Your closet is going to be half the size of where you're currently at, so we've got to remove some of that stuff. And then we coordinate with the movers. So when they're moving locally, we coordinate with local movers to make sure that they get handled with the care that we would want to be cared with. We would want to be handled with. And when they're out of state, we work with several carriers to make sure that their stuff is going to be treated with TLC.
And when they need to get into the place, now they're going to be in their new place, tell them the things that you do for them with that.
We will take care of their electronics for them. We will come in and set up their kitchen, put everything away. We will make their bed. We will hang up their toothbrush. We'll hook up their television, hook up their computer.
No moving company does that. I'm telling you now.
We hang their pictures. Anything else that they want us to do. Sometimes we put the furniture down and they say, you know what, this really doesn't work this way. And so after we set everything in place, the movers hang around. They don't leave until we tell them to. And then, okay, they want to have these two items moved over to the other side of the room. Let's do that, and they will take care of it.
Then put this number in your phone, because you never know whether it's you or someone that need this. It's someone that you needs it. I'll get it out. The phone number is 602-794-5455, and they're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. They are associated with other different affiliations that help them be, and they're people who are a seniors advocate that also you can trust. That's the most important thing, especially when it comes to our seniors. You need to know that you're calling somebody that you can trust. Again, that number is 602-794-5455. The website, ready it is? It's movingsuresucks.com. Okay, we're going to stay going here because we're still live in the room, okay? And yes, I have somebody that, she doesn't work for me anymore a long time ago. She listens to the show all the time and heard you and contacted you about the possibility of helping her. I don't know whether it worked out or not or whatever, but Catherine, yeah.
Yep.
She listens to the show and she was listening and heard you and
10
wrote it down.
days.
Wow.
Moving her in 10 days.
That's awesome. So I'm glad that worked out for you guys, because she, I have a lot of people that do know me that do you know, then listen. I mean, they've been listening for years. I've had friends over in this, and she had asked me about you, and I said, yes, they're the real deal. So,
Yeah, she's been fun. You know, she's real sweet.
yeah. Really sweet.
She was telling us about catching a rattlesnake out in the backyard.
I don't know anything about that. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
she caught a rattlesnake in the backyard, put it in a bucket with a shovel, and put a lid on it, and put a brick on the lid.
Would you ever even bother doing that? No way. I would never do that. I don't think I could. I'd be too scared.
Well, somebody had to come get it, and they
But I
told
would
her
not
that she had
take.
to-
I would just be like, you know,
Yeah.
get out of here.
Yeah,
Throw it away. Get it.
Yeah.
yeah, rattlesnakes are not.
What's the favorite part of what you do?
Actually, getting to know the clients. We moved, you know, Robert Young, right? We moved his daughter, Kathy. And she was so much fun. She had all these stories about her dad,
Oh,
and
that's
you know,
cool.
all the old pictures and memorabilia
Sure.
about him. It was fun. It was fun to move her.
Yeah.
Fun to talk to her and get to know her.
Yeah.
And so we have others that have done big things with their life, and now they're
I bet, because especially if somebody does, we're getting older later in life, right?
Yeah.
And we've got more stuff than we ever
Yep.
had before. There's things that today that like people might have coin collections or stamp collections that some of the younger generation may not have.
right.
Do you find, thank you, do you find that a lot of people have that kind of stuff and they want to take it, but they don't know if they can take it or
We had one that had a sheet of $1 bills, like a printed sheet that hadn't been
Uncut.
cut
They
yet.
were all still detached.
wow, they were counterfeiting. Does the iPad look good right there that you can see them really well? Okay, bring it close.
Move on. Go and get it. What? Dust in the wind.
So welcome back, everyone. Spring cleaning is what we're talking about right now. It might be something that you need to do and you need to get it out of the house and you don't want to have to deal with that. You don't want to have to move it. These people will help you not only pack, they will also help you decide and sort. They will also help you get it to where maybe you want to take it to a consignment store, maybe you want to donate it, and then you maybe need to move and they'll help you move. They'll find somebody to help you move. They do everything for a senior. Or not necessarily a senior, I should say it differently, for anyone who wants to clean up or if you have to move, especially if you do have to move or downsize, right? I think that you said at the break when we were talking to everybody on Facebook land out there that the one thing that you love the best is about getting to know your clients because every one of them have a story. Let's sit up a little bit because like you tell them the one that you were just telling me.
Yeah, so the actor Robert Young, his daughter lived in Surprise, and we moved her from one community to another, and she was delightful. She was so much fun to talk to, and she told us all kinds of stories about her dad, and
Yeah.
she had all kinds of pictures and memorabilia on the walls about her dad.
Are you finding, because what I was saying it also, that when you are getting older late in life now, and it happens longer, you live longer, right? You acquire more, right? And so now the next thing you know is when you have to move or when you have to downsize, it's what do I take with me? And you specialize in that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, when you're young, you have cinder blocks and planks, and you make furniture out of it, right? And
Not anymore. You should see my daughter's place. Go ahead.
And then, you grow up a little and you buy real furniture and you acquire all this stuff and you live in this 3,000 square foot house, and now you're moving to a 1,500 square foot apartment in a senior living community, and half of it has to go. So, we had one couple where we moved their baby grand into their senior living apartment.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. But they had to give up some other stuff because, you can't move everything, right? So
if you want the baby grand, you got to decide whether you want this or that or the other thing.
right, and so they had to decide, is my couch going to come or is my baby grand? And maybe I just need a love seat. or a couple of chairs. And so we help them to think through all those things.
Well, you have said before, you measure.
Mm-hmm.
No moving company does that. You also do where you make a plan. You literally plan it out for them. That you know exactly what they need to take before they even get there.
Right, and then we post that floor plan on every bedroom door and on the front door, so when the movers come in, they don't have to constantly ask, where does this go, where does this go? It goes in that room and you can see a picture of it right there and it goes on that wall, so.
You've also mentioned that because some people will say, well, I could do this myself. Well, no, you can't. Number one, no, you can't. But number two, it is like that you know what these places are like. For instance, you might look at it online and see that they have a lot of cabinets in the kitchen. Well, they might. But the cabinets on the inside look different than the ones that are closed that you can't see how they are. You've mentioned that before many times.
They're a couple inches less deep than the cabinets that are typically found in a home, and they're also not as high. So you may have the same number of doors, and you may even have the same number of shelves, but those tall glasses that fit on the top shelf in your house are not going to fit on the shelves in those apartments.
So when you move them or you help them with this downsizing, let's say, you know exactly how many they can take, and you help them understand that. That's another thing that you do. Is you're almost like little psychologists as well, right? Because you have to help people. This is a very difficult time in their lives.
I can say something to a senior that, let's say, their daughter can't. We've several times had mother-daughter. The daughter wants to be there and wants to help mom figure out what she can bring, and they fight. And if I send the daughter to McDonald's to pick up lunch, I can get mom to agree to exactly what the daughter was trying to get her to agree to, but I could say it differently with less emotion, and they agree.
They agree because they listen differently to the children. Their phone number to call is 602-794-5455. The website is movingsuresucks.com, and that is the truth. You can't say anything different, better, because you know what? It's great. It is perfect. And those people, everybody knows it. It doesn't matter if you're just downsizing because you want to, or if you need to. It still sure sucks. And that's what you can go up on their website and check out all about them. They're all about servicing you, the families out there, to help them get through probably a very difficult time in their life.
There's a lot of times when they want to stay in their home and it's too crowded. So I talked to an in-home non-medical care person, and they said about 9 out of the 10 houses they go into, 9 out of every 10, need to be decluttered. So we can just go in and declutter so that they can stay in their home if that is an issue.
That's awesome. I mean, a lot of people would want that. And I know of somebody, and I'm going to tell you about them after the show. My daughter's boyfriend was just talking about this yesterday, where they were doing a job. Listen up, everyone. Listen how this show works. This is networking, okay? Mm-hmm. So they're doing a flooring job for somebody, and they went there to go do it, and they couldn't do it because there was too much stuff. This person was a little bit of a hoarder, okay? And so they couldn't do the job, so they left. And I asked him, and I said, well, what happens with that? Do you just lose a job? And, well, they're going to come in and they're going to find somebody that maybe it'll be their son or daughter. And I said, well, you don't necessarily have to do that. You could call somebody I know who's been on my show. You see how I network with people even after the show, too. But, I mean, here's a perfect scenario where you could come in and help them. Let's say you are a person who does work with people who have ever had that, whether you're putting in a floor, installing something, you can't do it because they didn't do what they were supposed to do by the time they needed to get there and do it. So now you have to have that done. Instead of the daughter going in there and doing it herself, it can be you.
We've done that. We've gone in, somebody was getting all new flooring. They had tile and they were getting LVP. And so we just went in, we packed everything, took the pictures off the walls, and then when they were done with the job, we brought everything back in, rehung the pictures, and
like you never knew it happened.
Right.
But the main thing is that you can help people also psychologically go through that too, because if they're doing that, usually there's that problem that's an underlying problem. But you're trained, you know how to talk to them, you know how to work with them and to help them make those decisions. You don't make them for them. I want you to get that out.
Right. We do not make the decisions. I tell them what I think. They'll ask me what I think. I'll tell them what I think, and then they get to make a decision. And sometimes they decide to bring the things that, I tell them, that platter is just not going to fit in the cabinets. But maybe there's another place in the apartment where we can put it. And so sometimes they'll bring a display cabinet of some kind, and we can display some things.
Put it
in
on
there.
the wall if you have to.
Yeah.
If you really want it,
We've done that too. There was a brass tabletop, and they loved it, but they didn't want the table. And so we took that brass tabletop and got a plate hanger and put it on the wall.
When you call them, you are going to have a consultation, and they're going to go to work for you. That you pretty much know exactly what to do before you go in there. You have to assess what they have and see where it's at. You go back, you know exactly, basically, what you need to do to help them make that so easy. And I think that's the main thing of what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You agree?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, I want to give out their information, and so I got a cough here for a second. Sorry. Their phone number is 602-794-5455. The website is movingsuresucks.com. They call themselves moving managers. So explain that too, Michael. Last time you said that, and I wrote it down.
We don't move the stuff. We help organize it, and we make the arrangements for other people to actually move it. Part of our job is to make sure everything goes smoothly. When a lot of time, there's a lot of moving parts to moving. You've got to set up utilities, you've got your cable, you've got to arrange with the movers, you want to make sure things are going to get packed correctly. And like the floor plan is a good example. We were talking earlier about the floor plan. We've had several times recently where I set up the floor plan for the client, and I told them, this is what's going to fit. And they said, well, I really want to bring that armoire. I really love that. It's not going to fit. And then they bring it. And they say, you know what? Michael was right. It's not going to fit. We got to take it back to the house or take it to consignment.
Which costs more money to do.
Exactly.
Right?
And so
you want
they
to do it beforehand.
Several of them have had to take it, and it costs out of pocket. It was our job is to keep the cost low.
I do want to make it clear, though, that you do all of this, but and you say you are not the movers, but you have the people that you can call that you trust that are going to really take care of your belongings and do it the right way. So you do all of this, and then at the end of it all, there's other things that you can do in place.
Yeah, all the moving parts. Basically, to speak in industrial terms, we handle all the logistics to get it done and get it done right.
You also do discounts for people. You want to talk a little bit about your vets and what you
Veterans, a 10% discount on veterans. And I don't know, anything else you can think of besides that we'll do?
But you do that for the vets. They want you to know that they do appreciate your service, and they are going to give you 10% off. Whether you're doing something that's just downsizing or a clean out, and right now we have been talking a little bit about clean outs, and go ahead.
We have quite a few clean outs right now where someone passed away and the house has to be cleaned out, so the real estate agents give us a call and ask us to come and get it gone.
Now, can you, let's say, if somebody doesn't want to have an estate sale done in their home because they have a lot of people coming in and out, can you help them with moving all their that belongings by helping them get it online? Do you do any of that as well?
Not online, no. We can take the things that I know will sell to a consignment store.
To a consignment store. Okay, so you help with that.
Right.
Sometimes there's a situation where the estate sale people that we work with are having a current estate sale, and they've got room. And we can have some of the items shuttled over to that location so that they can sell it anyway.
Also, the most important thing, especially if you're senior, you don't have to be a senior to work with them. Anyone who needs to declutter, needs to do a clean out, or just wants to downsize, or maybe you need to move into an assisted living, they're the people to call. Their phone number is 602-794-5455. It's movingsuresucks.com.